It was a day like any other, or so you would think, until everything changed. 4 days earlier, Lazarus, a close friend of Jesus, had died. His sisters, Mary and Martha, had prepared his body for burial and laid him to rest. They believed that he would rest in peace until the resurrection, when, according to Jewish teaching, everyone who had died would come back to life. But then Jesus arrived in Bethany with 2 of his disciples. Now, Bethany was only a short walk from Jerusalem, but during those 4 days, Mary and Martha had despaired. They believed that if Jesus had come sooner, he could have saved Lazarus. Why didn't he? Was he really who he claimed to be? When Jesus arrived at the house, Martha went out to meet him. She told him, "Lord, if you had come here before, my brother would not have died. Even now, I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give you." Jesus told her, "Your brother will rise again." And Martha said, "I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day." Martha must have been thinking, "Why don't you do that now? Why don't you raise him from the dead right now?" But she didn't say that. Instead, she went and got Mary and told her, "The teacher is here, and he wants to see you." When Mary heard this, she thought it was about Lazarus. Maybe Jesus had come to tell her something more about what would happen after the resurrection. So she didn't rush to go to him, but sat where she was and did not get up. When she finally arrived, she fell at Jesus' feet and told him that, if he had been there, he would not have died. Not long after, Martha came over and both sisters stood there while Jesus wept. They thought he was crying because he felt sorry for their loss. But then he went to the tomb where Lazarus had been buried. Many people were there, all waiting for Jesus to perform some kind of miracle, but none of them expected what happened next. Jesus asked them to move aside, but when they did, he did not pray first. He simply yelled, "Lazarus, come out," and they were shocked. Why would he call someone who had been dead for 4 days? The person who came out wasn't Lazarus, though. It was another man who had been in that tomb. Then they started yelling, "Who is this?" The dead man slowly unwrapped the burial clothes from around himself and walked out. And when they saw who it really was, everyone started yelling even louder. Everyone, that is, except Jesus, Mary and Martha. They knew that this was a miracle, but they needed to make sure that Lazarus understood what had happened. So Jesus asked the crowd to let them have a moment alone. After everyone had left, he told Lazarus to break the seal on his own grave and come follow him. Lazarus did as he was told, and no one knows what he might have said, but they were likely very thankful to be alive and eager to follow Jesus. This was the second time that Jesus raised someone from the dead. The first time was when he raised the son of the widow from Seraphim, which we read about in Kings 17. That was an amazing miracle and brought a dead boy back to life. But this miracle was different. You see, Lazarus had been dead for 4 days, and 4 is a significant number in the Bible. It is a picture of what seemed to be an end, finality, death, decay. In the Old Testament, it took 4 days for Israel to cross the Red Sea. By the time they reached the other side, the waters had already begun to harden. The Egyptians never made it through, but they were soon stuck in the mud. So when Jesus raised Lazarus, it was a clear sign that he had the authority to conquer death. He even told the disciples who witnessed this miracle, "Because I have raised him from the dead, therefore, I tell you, believe also in me." In fact, this miracle reveals the heart of Jesus. It shows us that he cared for the sick and the suffering, and that he wanted to give them hope. And it gave the disciples hope too, for it revealed the power of the resurrection that was to come. And we know that because John tells us in his gospel that many people believed in Jesus because of this miracle. So let's thank God that he has raised Jesus from the dead, and let's have faith in him, knowing that we, too, will rise again.